Happy Friday. We'll get started in a minute or so. Well, I'll begin to get rolling as people log on here. Just wanted to say thank you very much for bearing with me in the time change. I thank you for your understanding, knowing big crazy business schedules and when trips come up, had to shuffle a bit. So thank you again for bearing with me and adjusting accordingly. Today, happy to talk to you about our most recent retail audit in the health and beauty areas. As a quick introduction, Great Northern Instore is a design and manufacturer of point of purchase materials for retail, merchandising solutions from temporary, semi permanent to permanent. And we really pride ourselves on our mission of we help our customers win by doing what others can't or won't. A big part of that is diving in and understanding the retail landscape so we can really partner with our clients, and our design teams are aware of the latest and greatest as we develop winning solutions. Couple of things with the GoToWebinar platform I want to mention is that there is a questions field that you can definitely please write in questions as we go along, and I'll try to answer. If I catch them during the presentation, I'll try to answer it right then and there or potentially at the end. You'll get an email following the webinar that'll have my contact information. Please feel free to reach out afterwards as well with any additional questions, comments, feedback. Again, love to continue to strive to make these impactful and useful to you. We'll go through quickly the audit itself, talk about then kind of the key things that we saw out in the field. Simple impact, lead by claims, key design elements, lighting, themes, and on trend. This is a quick snippet. This audit, we got into over 30 stores, touched upon about a dozen retailers. I'll say most in the mass and drug categories, but also got into some Ultas and Sephoras as well to see how they're kind of bringing some of these categories to life. And in these categories, there's a lot of materials out there. Saw over 300 unique activations. A lot of cool stuff out there happening out in both the health and beauty areas. I'll start off with simple impact. And I'm going to use some numbers that if you've been on prior webinars, I bring up. It was from Carbon View Research in 2017, last year, around the key elements that have shoppers remembering displays and remembering what they saw in store. And it is about eye-catching graphics and colors. 65% of shoppers remember that, and that's kind of the key. Location, very critical, particularly to high promotional items, to be in the spot that really makes sense, captures the eye, and grabs attention. Sometimes that's some great cross promotions and et cetera that drive relevancy. And then finally, everybody loves to have some sort of incentive. 61% have said that's a tiebreaker. That's a game changer to have that printed on the point of purchase materials that helps them go, I should maybe try this product or brand out. Gives me a little bit of, again, that in-store tiebreaker. As past data has been out there and documented that 2/3 to 3/4 of final brand purchase decisions are made in store, and that's a great tiebreaker. So some examples of that great simplicity in the health, beauty, personal care areas. We really love how Harry's has gone to market in mass right now in both Target and Walmart, and we'll show a few images of that. Here is their Walmart end cap. Just the sleek black and white look, very clean, very neat, but then obviously having that supersized thermoformed razor right there, so you just don't miss what this is about with their well-known or I'll say their own design that they have there. The bright orange handle really pops off of the black background as well. That just again catches the eye, drives attention, is a very simple, clean activation. And they didn't stop with just the end cap, but they also brought that same look feel into the aisle, drawing that shopper in and kind of connecting the dots with the nice header that it mimics the end cap header. Again, not necessarily the huge thermoformed razor there, but a nice sign that mimics that as well, that kind of, again, highlights the razor, merchandises it all very nicely there. In Target, they've had similar activations when they first launched there, but now have gotten into building the regimen at Target with some of the other personal care items, the soaps and shampoos, etc. And in this activation, doing it again, very nice, clean, simple. The black background highlighting is that key constant, and then having nice, clean color coding for the different scents. So very clear, very simple to shop, very appealing. Also using kind of a stadium style end cap here, so no product is hidden. The soap is clearly in front, but behind it, but elevated is the various liquid products and gels. So very nicely done to display the product in a very visible fashion for the shopper. Another activation that really captures the eye nicely, again, using the simplicity and some bold colors with this kind of zigzag pattern. Again, those edges and angles really capture the shopper's attention. Stands out in store from a lot of the plain, straight activations that are there, and pleasingly merchandises the product along this along those angles. So really sharp activation that pops. Again, clean, bold colors capture attention with a pleasing angular shape. Quip is another new item at Target, nicely called out, although that call out is pretty high up, but from afar kind of can see something new. We'll talk about that in a little bit, that's a critical call out for particularly millennial shoppers. And here, again, a very simple activation, primarily white, but setting up that bathroom-like setup for where's this product used at the sink in your bathroom for this new electric toothbrush that Quip is selling. So a nice put up that you understand what it's about, nice, cleanly merchandised product right next to it, and that mirror that you kind of look into as you just would normally attract to has the key claims and messaging right there where a shopper would go to look. Along the line of simplicity and keeping it simple, we're seeing a lot of icons being used. In this case, in the signage at Target, on the left, a big poster highlighting 12 different icons that they're using in their food area all around wellness to kind of highlight organic, gluten-free, whole grain, all of these various pieces. So iconography that helps the shopper quickly navigate and understand the benefits of various products. And they not only use that there in the in the food aisle, but also you see the aisle blades in the personal care, beauty aisles that again highlight products and their again wellness made simple campaign with simple iconography. Some of them shared with food, the organic symbol being similar, and then obviously some that are different and specific to personal care beauty products. And here's an example of where Spring Valley has utilized, again, nice color coding and the use of some icons to really highlight, again, the different benefits of the products housed on the different PDQ trays here at a Walmart. The general wellness, nice sun, simple, easy, and then getting the bone health with that, I guess a chain link showing strength there for those products. So nicely done. Consistency for this activation is held with the branded color and logos, but then the info panels, highlight icons, color coding to help the shopper quickly navigate to the product that they is for them. Next is claims, and particularly in the health categories, claims were a leading thing that we saw in our audit. 60% of health activations had a claim front and foremost. And obviously, most powerful type of claims are ones that say, world's #1 conditioner, like Pantene is showing here. Who wouldn't want to try this if it's the #1 conditioner? Maybe I should be trying it if I haven't. So those sort of claims leading forward. Here, again, as I mentioned, healthcare, personal care, Oral-B, #1 brand used by dentists and hygienists. If it's used by the experts and it's their #1 choice, maybe it should be my #1 choice. Comes across loud and clear. New, another key element, again, in the Carbon View survey, millennials, 36% of millennials said that they would be willing to consider a product if it was highlighted on the POP, the merchandising, that it is new. Again, we know that cohort is probably less brand loyal and is definitely looking for the latest and greatest, and that new call out is highly critical. They had the highest percentage of people stating that compared to boomers and compared to Gen Xers, where Gen Xers only 25% said that was an important thing that made them consider to that brand. So again, with the all-important millennial cohort, calling out new, like that crest display, is critical. The crest display also does a nice job, again, of breaking out of the standard rectangular prism displays and uses some nice angles and circles and cutouts to, again, capture attention in a retail environment that is normally cluttered and busy with rectangular box style activations, and this definitely stands out and pops. Another one that, again, stands out and pops is this Garnier end cap at Walmart. Again, #1 micellar water brand, again, calling that #1 out claim, really critical. Here in this case as well, they're using, again, a plastic bottle shape to really help that whole end cap stand out from anything else along Walmart's main aisleway there. The giant bottle just pops from where all the other end caps being straight shelves. Also, nicely as you come up, we talked about that idea of incentive, and you can see it's not the first thing that's called out, but as a shopper is beginning to consider the product on the shelves, right at the shelf label, there's a comment about a free offer that's packaged up with this. So kind of a nice, again, from afar, great activation capturing attention with the shape and the bottle and creating that branding, the key number one claim, and then into some, a bit of a incentive for the shopper. Now, if you don't necessarily have a number one claim, and I know from my past, those are always challenging to, you got to be number one, or else obviously it's not going to be, you're not able to claim that. It's calling out all sorts of other things. In this case, a whole palette of a variety of products. In this case, P&G products that are highlighted about winning Allure's Best of Beauty 2017 award on this palette. And again, doing the same, calling it out even on aisle blades as well here for Olay. Again, calling out something special. If it's an award winner, maybe I should add this to my consideration set. Even though we're in 2018 and it's the 17 award. Health, again, even if it's not number one or awards, it's the key call out of things like nothing lasts longer, 12-hour relief, those sort of things. Use pops first thing when you see these Mucinex trays. Those sort of key powerful claims when a shopper's there trying to figure out what's that best medicine that's going to get me, help me or my family member feel better. Those sort of things are powerful and make them make that final choice. Here into the beauty area, again, calling out, obviously it's the products themselves from a beauty perspective, but again, those claims around strong from tip to toe, really having that be the leading thing called out. And you also see new for one of the particular products called out at the bottom. I also love this display, again, using some powerful curves and a different merchandising style of how those shelves are built within those curves to be different and stand out in an area of straight shelves, rectangular looks, something that's very different and powerful. As mentioned, new, I talked about that earlier. In this case, on these trays, new called out very clearly. Also, the beginning of some of this, and we'll touch on this later again, some of the natural aspects here as well that are critical in claims. So you got both that new as well as natural product here that's great for the planet. An even better call out of new, I think this is out of them all, probably the best, new at Walgreens for this L'Oreal product, bold, right at the top, can't be missed, that this is new, really, again, building on that insight of, yes, particularly millennial shoppers want that call out. It screams to them that maybe I should consider this. And then I put this one in here as a nice, real bridge between health, beauty, and some of the trends out there are very much, particularly with everybody having a core in health, in that the trends in health are getting all the more of you have to be proactive, you got to take control of your own. Obviously, loads of healthcare concerns out there in the general public. And, I got to take care of myself and take control of my own health. And part of that also ladders into beauty, of that healthy skin, healthy body is going to present myself as the best possible self. I'm going to feel better, look better, and be a better person that way. So this is a great activation of the beauty perspectives, and you see a lot of beauty cues here. We'll talk about facial images, etc. As well as obviously tying that into healthy skin, as the header says above this, and using a lot of the health colors that we'll talk about, that blue and white type of scheme that's a bit different than the beauty colors that are typically utilized. And that's a great segue into key design elements that we saw in market. And the first, specifically talking about beauty, are two things that we see on this end cap at Meyer. First off, color. 50% of all displays or activations we saw for beauty, the primary color was black. Again, I don't think that should be a surprise to anyone, and these activations here highlight that for CoverGirl. Secondly, is that faces were utilized in 50% of the activations as well. So in the beauty area, it is all about showing the look, the payout. Just great to kind of see that. This is very different than some of the other audits we've performed. I'll juxtapose this against back to school, where we frankly saw less than 5% of the back to school activations had lifestyle imagery and showing that emotional payout. Beauty, very different than that. When you see 50% of the activations have faces and emotional payout from that perspective. Another example of a great display led by black, led by a face that really pays out, catches the eye, and just draws you in. Here, the second color that's the primary usage in beauty displays is white. 40% of the beauty displays we saw were white, as shown by this Olay and Neutrogena activations. A note, there's another number one claim on a display there for Neutrogena. White is just, again, so re-stressing color for beauty. 90% of displays are led by black or white. So that's the trend. That's what you see in the departments, that you see in the activations. That is the cue, that is the number one color cues for beauty, is that clean white or the sleek black. Now, sometimes what I'll say is, though, you see some of those displays that aren't led with that, or led with a red or an orange, they pop. So it's finding that balance, knowing the category cues, but knowing also, boy, how do I break through or stand out in this environment where everybody is black and white? Here's a couple more examples of white in L'Oreal being the primary, and even in this case, the number two color in this display being black. So yes, there's some pops of color in this one that help it be a little differentiated, but again, it's led with white and black through the whole department. On the health end of things, the top colors are white and blue, shown by Equate. We would see a quarter of the displays in health led with white, and a quarter of the displays led with blue. But as you can tell just by those percentages, those numbers, half of the displays then are all sorts of different colors. And you can kind of see on this Walmart four-way on the extreme right there is purple. So health, a lot more branded colors utilized through the rainbow and the spectrum, even though, yes, the primary colors are blue and white, but again, a much broader spectrum, much more colorful use here. In health, you would see less faces. About a third of the time there'd be a face on there, whether that's a person, really, again, showing the emotional payout of health and wellness, or is it utilizing a trusted expert, like in this case, that's an image of a person in the medical field there, again, providing kind of that assurance about this product. Lighting is a topic I think, again, I've brought up in a variety of my webinars going back. In particular, I highlight back when we went to EuroShop in 2017. That was an aha for our team that was there. It's just all the lighting and the capabilities that LED lights bring to retail, and whether that's plugged in for permanent activations, or whether, again, the idea that these lights can use low power and be battery operated in temporary and semi-permanent activations. The race is on to use light to really help stand out. These images here, just so you realize, these are printed fabric panels with LEDs behind them that are creating that animated look. So these are not TV screens. That aurora and the tents kind of lighting up and going out at night, or the ocean scene there from under the water, it's all created by LED lights, and how they're timed to create that animated effect. So you're not having to invest in a gigantic TV screen for these, but it's some LED light backing that's creating this look. Really cool, again, to say that this field can really help create some impactful activations. And beauty definitely utilizes lighting, particularly in a lot of the sets in mass. Target does this wonderfully, and they've had several generations already of fixturing that really helps pop with lighting. In this case, again, you see it highlighting again the key claims and the key visuals, the facial imagery of the look that these products provide. Another example of a Maybelline activation with, again, the backlit sign above, again, draws on in. In this case, this aisle doesn't have a load of lighting, but those few pops really, again, draw people's attention to those focal products. Here's a newer Target fixture that's in a few of their stores, again, around even the beauty tools. Again, the highlight LED lighting around the entire rim and lighting down on the products to really pop. Also love the idea of having the products out of pack there to touch, feel, see what these products are about, and experience it before you make that final purchase. Now driving into another key area that we would see in health and beauty is the idea of pulling together into a theme. So one example are cold and flu, allergy relief. These are some great activations in the grocery store where, again, bold, viewable from afar because they have some height to it. The header clearly calls out what type of products are on these displays. And, it's a host of products that suit a particular need for the shopper. Is it cold and flu? Is it allergy? And then nicely, once you get up to it, they have a nice symptom finder so you can understand what you or your family member has. Look at it, try to understand what product should be purchased. Here's Halls, again, providing this whole solution half palette at Walmart, nicely color-coded for the different type of Halls products, for the different, again, cough needs. But here, again, from that solution theme, they've tied in with Walmart directly for the flu shot messaging right here on this activation, as you can see on the left graphic panel. So partnering with the retailer to tell the story and the retailer's programs that are going on simultaneously is a great activation here. And then it's also pulling together those solution centers. So nicely done here. Burt's Bees, we've seen do several of these, and I'll show a couple of examples. Again, here in a grocery store with a permanent racking system that, again, houses their entire line, their entire regimen of branded products that really ties nicely together. I know we probably all love these sort of solution centers for our brands. Here is I'm pretty certain this is a Meijer store where, again, nicely put, in this case, a permanent shelving system to really help organize all of the various, I'll say, beauty personal care, all the lip balms, all the lipsticks, other products, very nicely put together. Their branding, bold yellow, branding's on top. Again, the beauty images of, people, faces, all there. And then this is an interesting one in a Target end cap, a bit of a different feel for Burt's Bees, where they didn't necessarily lead with the yellow, but they led with that authentic wood, natural feel to this end cap that really is there. But then the yellow was pulled together in the shelves, and then key elements as well, using that hexagon honeycomb look, even for, again, merchandising the bombs there. Really kind of a unique little look, but again, ties in that, subtly hints to the brand of being nicely done. And even though this all looks wood, this is all done out of temporary materials, again, showing that ability to, again, you have a look and a feel, but depending on the material, depending on the lifespan of the activation, different materials can be used to develop that look for the brand. Another one for their toothpaste, again, utilizing the honeycomb pattern there on the little graphics, again, highlights the brand, even when a retailer covers up your branding, as so often can happen. So at least bring enough of cues together in the activation so someone still gets the message as they're up into this. Again, nicely used shapes, again, that breaks out and stands out in a retail environment to be a bit different. Again, even if a retailer covers your branding. A nice solution center for Bromley's in a grocery store, really highlighting the regimen and basket building. So using, again, a nice activation on shelf that's branded and highlights all the steps, the pre-shave, the shave, the post-shave, to really drive basket building solution for both the brand and the retailer. And another nice one with Botanics. A couple of nice things here is using the lighting, as we talked about before. As you can see, this is a run of product that does not have lighting in this aisle except for this activation, so it really stands out, using some nice imagery there, again, in line with the beauty cues, but also using those woods that really help, again, tie into the brand and the natural basis of these products, and bringing that to life instead of just setting it on regular metal shelves. So it really comes to life, uses a nice color coding system in merchandising their products that way, again, making that simplicity to understand and shop and navigate very nicely done. And then a few things, these are more in the personal care area, but that idea of even on these shelves, going out and really finding ways to make their products stand out in the aisle. The aisle is still in a lot of stores where the majority of sales take place, so getting something that really highlights the messaging is critical. I'll say the Parodontax toothpaste on the upper right. Again, the key claim helps prevent bleeding gums. If they just relied on the product packaging, and it's on there, but it is not as easily seen from afar, where putting this information, that advertising panel below the facings that stretches 3 boxes wide and is that large, helps catch the shopper's attention and communicates clearly what that brand is about, which would otherwise be missing. You could do all sorts of other cool things. Crest with a little printed clear PET piece that kind of sets right underneath their products, or even secret with this item that pops outside. So again, as you're scanning down the aisle, it sticks out a little bit in the aisle to really pop the claim and stand out and highlight that product to the shopper. And talking about on trend, it sometimes is leading with the trend. So in this case, Pantene, Herbal Essences, and a few others are on here, but the trend is the lead. The charcoal is that idea that leads on this display about activating your deepest clean, not necessarily the brand that's drawing that shopper in. So they're used to seeing a trend out there or read about it online, seen it on their social media, or read about it in a beauty magazine, and bam, that's what connects them to it. Sometimes it's literally calling out trend. I mean, the SE here is simply just saying fall trend. We saw from an NRF survey done last year at holiday time frame, 90% of shoppers will second guess their purchases. 51% of females will say they will take into consideration of a retailer calling out what is the most popular or giving products or kind of giving their bit of input towards, is this the right product? Is it the hot product? So calling out fall trend is the type of thing that captures someone's attention and eye. This display is also pretty cool using the angles. Again, instead of just being a simple one-sided or two-sided display that's rectangular prism, here using a three-sided angular activation stands out. And this is a rare beauty display, not led by white or black, led by that pinkish color. And here's again another example at Ulta where an end cap is calling out what's hot. So again, if somebody's browsing the store, the retailer clearly calling out the latest, the greatest, what's hot, etc., that draws that shopper in. You're in Target doing a similar fashion of these best of beauty call outs and frames around those key products. Again, helping that shopper, they see this gigantic run of product. This helps to a degree curate and provide a bit of that reassurance that maybe this should be something different. Obviously, if somebody's called this best of, it's got to be thoughtful and must, maybe something to bring into my consideration set. Here's a nice activation near the checkout in an Ulta of little delights. That idea of gifting at holiday time frame, again with the nice lifestyle imagery of the payout, the emotional payout. But again, that bit of that last bit, driving that impulse purchase right as you're about to check out. Obviously, natural is a gigantic trend that's out there across a host of categories, definitely there in beauty. So you do see some activations highlighting, instead of going with the faces, in this case, highlighting ingredients. So it's that ingredient story told by good chemistry here. And those are the visuals of those sumptuous ingredients that are in there. And then nicely color coding their products there in vertical stripes. And Body Shop doing the same. In this case, again, a black color-led activation in beauty, but ingredients play right into this and highlighting that trend instead of, again, using the faces, but using those ingredient stories. So nicely done there. Nice, again, as we talked about before, lighting as well to help this product pop. And then, as we drive on trend, it is beginning to see a bit more of this in various stores, in this case, a Target with a touchscreen, to understand the different products, beginning to build in augmented reality into the store where, yes, you take a picture of yourself and begin to test the products on that picture, or even virtual image, even though live, not necessarily a picture, but almost a video playing back of you and seeing what that product looks like. Starting to see more and more of that, boldly in this case, again, called out with the lighting, both as the center back panel to draw the shopper in from afar, and then even right to the display itself, the lighting calling you to engage with that touch screen and the product then nicely merchandised around it. So as we wrap up here, what I want to highlight those key points again, a lot about simple impact, a lot of great activations. really being a nice, clean look that, again, that's kind of the various trends that we see already just in home decor and people trying to simplify their lives in a time where everybody's lives are feeling more hectic and busy. Simple impact at store, calling out that this is highlighting that product and brand in that fashion is the on-trend thing. We've talked about color, beauty. 90% of displays are either black or white. Health, blue and white are the lead colors, but that is only 50% of the time, a lot more of the rainbow there. We talked about the power of claims, how important that is, especially again in the health categories where 60% of the activations, the claim is the boldest thing called out on the display, that stands and comes forward. Lifestyle imageries, again, beauty, 50% of the time has faces on their activations. Health, 1/3 of the time. And again, this is very different from other categories throughout the store, which we're seeing are, less than 5% of the time. So something that makes these categories stand out is that use of lifestyle imagery to really pay out the benefit. And that does stand out compared to the rest of the store today. And then finally, thinking about solutions, thinking about how do you provide a solution that's got to work with the retailer, maybe connects with the retailer program, or just helps build a bigger basket, builds the regimen for the shopper. And again, that's going to help your brand and obviously help the retailer because they're all about driving additional sales. So with that, I want to say thank you for sitting in. I hope this was very helpful for you. If there's any questions, pop them in right now. I'm happy to answer anything that may have come up. As mentioned, you'll get an email later on that, one, if you want, I'd appreciate any feedback that you have. Secondly, obviously, any questions or you want to build on the dialogue, we've had a host of additional pictures that obviously couldn't be put into a 40-minute webinar. But again, if you have any other questions or dialogue around that, again, would be happy to connect up with you to help discuss and learn more. So again, thank you for bearing with the time change, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you very much.